feel to you? Fuck you.
The regions of experience. Demons to some, angels to others.
I saw her face.
What's that like to live deliciously?
Greetings, friends! Welcome back to the Messed Up Movies Podcast, New Movie Monday. We're the podcast that celebrates movies and filmmakers that embrace the insane, the outrageous, the unhinged, the off-kilter, and the all-around kind of fun Sam and the patriarchy refuse to take their eyes off of. Make them see their sins! I'm your host, Griffey, joined as always by a friend and co-host. You saw Sam representing the patriarchy, and Heath representing a more modern man, I hope. Or will I be on this island of defense alone? Time will tell as we talk about Osgood Perkins' new movie, The Keeper, but before that, a little bit of business. Please go to Indiegogo and type in Mr. Cream Jeans. We've been shadow banned, so you have to type it in. You can get the pod perk where you can join this podcast, right? Talk about your favorite movie, a new movie, an old movie, a film festival draft versus me, Sam, Heath, Sophia, Dandino, whoever you want. You can have that warfare. You can pick the film festival we draft. You can even just come on and talk about movies in general if you want. That helps us make our movie. We actually just had a new huge donation on our Indiegogo from a man who on TikTok was named Mr. Cream Jeans, who found our movie, Mr. Cream Jeans Hidey Hole, and I believe said, I'm just glad that someone's doing something with the name Mr. Cream Jeans. So thank you.
Leave it to us.
Yeah, thank you for your support, other Mr. Cream Jeans. We appreciate That's just one of those universes aligning things that I love. So help us make our first movie. Join the pods. We have all kinds of fun stuff on there. That would mean the world to us. Make sure you go to the Messed Up Movies Podcast Patreon. There's really good things right now. Creep Tape Season 2 just started with a fucking banger. We'll be talking about that this week. Also in December, we program the entire pod off of our patron stocking stuffer pick. So this is the best time of year to join the Messed Up Movies Podcast Patreon page. Best way to support the show and help us grow. Also, make sure you go to Misfit Parade on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, all that stuff. Subscribe there. Find us, give us a follow, interact with us. We're needy like that. Speaking of people who are needy, women, am I right? That's what the movie The Keeper is about, I think. No, we'll have to unpack that. I'm sorry, all women. I'm on your side. I like this movie a lot. So
they just need chocolate, I hear.
Yeah, right? Yeah. If you just give them chocolate cakes like Malcolm, that'll
Except
work.
for what's her name? She don't like chocolate.
Yeah, I saw her house. That's like me. It was like, no, I'm not drinking tonight. And I wake up the next morning in my boxers.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought. He's like, yeah, she's lying, man.
All right, so let's talk about. Here's the movie synopsis. If only you were dead.
Yes.
All capitals, right? Liz and Malcolm escape for a romantic anniversary weekend at a secluded cabin. When Malcolm suddenly returns to the city, Liz finds herself isolated and in the presence of an unspeakable evil that reveals the cabin's horrifying secret. So, I actually really enjoyed this movie. I got 2 texts from Sam and Heath that might have set the bar very low for me, right? Sam sent me a text said, credits rolled, should have done Predator. And then Heath sent me another text, I believe it was, same, I think Osgood Perkins' line of credit is about to run out. Yeah. So I was expecting literal dog shit. Mm-hmm. I found this movie really captivating from start to finish. And I'll say I've not been the biggest Osgood Perkins fans. I love the way he attacks films, right? I like that these movies exist as they were.
So see, I've heard of him attacking TV shows.
This is where I do my Jim to the camera.
So have you guys heard about the recent debacle where he's coming out against the Ed Gein monster story?
Yes. Okay, first off, this is not a debacle. The Ed Gein show is fucking vile trash from start to finish. It's one of the worst things I've ever finished all the way through a season 1.
But you finished it.
I did finish it because I was like, I can't have watched 3 episodes of this dog shit and not say I at least made it through the finish. It's kind of like doing a burpees challenge.
Okay, so I haven't actually watched it. Was there something to do with, like, because his dad, if you don't know, is the guy from Psycho, right?
He was Anthony Perkins, the actor who was Norman Bates, right? He was in Psycho. So the Ed Gein show did these offshoots, right? Where they talked about the 3 major movies that were inspired by Ed Gein, right? Texas Chainsaw, Psycho, and Silence of the Lambs. They have little detours into all those movies. The Ed Gein portion that talked about his father, Anthony Perkins, took a very kind of trashy, classless approach to his battle as a closeted gay man at that time.
Gotcha.
And Hitchcock was kind of needling him, like, well, if you're blah, blah. It was trashy and shady. I think we're all on Osgood Perkins' side of this fight. If you're on Ed Gein's side in this fight, you're making bad life choices.
Or Ryan Murphy's side, technically.
Yeah, or Ryan Murphy. Yeah, Ed Gein's already paid for his crimes.
Ed
Ryan
Gein's
Murphy's
done, yeah.
committing new crimes. Yeah,
Right.
That show was dog shit. That's one of the worst things I've ever sat through in my life. What was not one of the worst things I ever sat through was The Keeper. And I'm not a huge Osgood Perkins fan, right? I like that these movies get made. Blackcoat's Daughter I thought was cheating. I didn't really like the twist ending. Gretel and Hansel.
All style.
Yeah, Long Legs, The Monkey. None of these movies really click with me when I'm in the theater. See, I fucking hate The Monkey.
Really?
Long Legs I liked a lot more on subsequent viewings.
Okay.
I sat in The Keeper, right? Or Keeper. I actually thought it showed like a real maturity and growth to me. And I think part of it too is he didn't write the script.
Yeah.
I thought this showed a real leveling up of his directing, of his blocking. I thought the performances were fucking incredible. I really found myself liking this. I'm also a huge fan of Japanese curse movies and Junji Ito. And there's a lot of that flavor in here. I found this movie really captivating.
Yeah, so I agree with you. The blocking, the framing, everything was really well done. Like, I didn't, like, but the story itself.
Is this going to be a classic Sam take? Great movie, hated it.
This is a new t-shirt.
No, this is not going to be that, because I don't think this was a great movie. This was an okay movie. The last 15 minutes were great, but we'll get into that later. But as far as what you were saying, the blocking, the framing, everything was really well done. It looked beautiful.
Heath, you're the most experienced director among us. Do you think that I'm right? I thought this showed a real growth as a director for Osgood Perkins in this movie.
I'll give you that. Yeah, I think this is actually my favorite Perkins movie.
This is my favorite in theater Perkins movie for sure.
Yeah, well, Long Legs, very well done on a craft level. Great on an atmosphere and a mood level, and he does.
Yeah, much better in marketing.
I thought
than delivery.
From like crafting suspense, this was maybe his best effort.
See, this reminded me a lot of Don't Look Now, The Shining, where it's just this like ominous dread the whole movie. The whole time I was watching the movie, I just felt this dread. And what's around the corner? What's above them? What's outside the windows?
That brings
I
us
felt
to
dread the whole movie.
That brings us to my first issue with the movie. Is I don't like that. So what he was trying to do, and I get it, is like the Hitchcock thing where the audience knows more than the protagonist.
Yeah.
Like ahead of time. Right?
To be fair,
so
that's most movies.
So the movie opens up with imagery of these, I think it's 4 women getting murdered throughout time. So they're all in different time periods, and you can kind of tell that. So you know something's weird, right? And then it opens up with this guy dating this girl, and he takes her to this cabin, and you know something's going to happen to her.
Okay.
From the very beginning.
So, did you have the same problem in a movie like Get Out, which shows a black man who's gotten off in like a kind of upper crust suburban area, and he's a little worried on the phone with his friend, and then he gets abducted? So that when we see that this white girl's taking this black man to a remote cabin elsewhere, we know something bad's going to happen?
So I didn't have that problem with that movie because it had decent pacing, and it kept it exciting. In this movie, you know the dread's going to happen, so all of this subterfuge that they're trying to like pull across with the guy acting like a good boyfriend, and she wasn't really acting like a good girlfriend, but beside the point.
I think we've uncovered the root of Sam's problem.
Well, neither. First off, neither one of these two characters are like likable or lovable.
So this is a real thing you've locked on lately, that you don't like characters that you don't immediately like.
No, not even immediately. Like, if I eventually end up liking him, that's fine. Like, I don't have to immediately like him, but there was no real redeeming qualities of either one of these characters.
You think
Especially the guy.
So, see, I'm going to take a little umbrage with both of those points, right? One, I think most of the times when you go to a horror movie, like, we knew this was a horror movie going in. We had seen trailers. I know something bad's going to happen the whole movie. That does not dissuade me from enjoying the movie if the ride is doled out properly.
Right.
And I thought the kind of use of this ominous dread, and this is a great example of something they tell actors all the time, right? You never play the emotion, right? If the emotion is sad, you play it a different way and it becomes more interesting, because people usually try to hide their true inner feelings, right? I thought this movie was an exceptional example of actors really getting the most out of not playing the emotions, right? So I got a ton out of that.
Yeah.
I thought the dropping of the paranormal was really cool, right? I like the blocking of there's always something in the foreground, so the frame becomes really small. Like there's always something we don't see. There's always a voyeuristic quality. The layering on of kind of liquids and water running us over these like ghostly images of people.
I
thought
that.
the dread and the suspense really pulled me through this movie. I found it captivating. I never felt like it lagged for me.
So I'll give you a little bit of kudos over here, Sam, or just agree with you on this point of we're too far ahead of the audience, right?
Yeah.
And
It takes a little bit of the suspense out of it, right?
yeah,
To me, at least.
and I think it applies to your opinion of the characters because the thing that drives me nuts in a horror movie is why are the characters making stupid decisions? It immediately makes me lose respect for them.
Right, yeah.
And then, so that's a likability issue. And then you are not as invested in what their fate becomes because you're like, well, you kind of deserved it.
Well, you kind of deserve it.
I felt I was right on with, is it Tatiana Maslany? That's the actress,
Tatiana
right?
Maslany, yeah.
Maslany.
And she was Liz in
I
the movie.
totally understood what she was going through, I thought.
Well, okay, so before we even go anywhere, what the hell was she going through? Because they don't ever tell you what she's going through.
So, they do in the movie. They do. They
When?
tell it.
When did they tell us?
So this is the movie. All right.
Motherfucker.
How dare you? First off, how dare you? I will speak
right.
on behalf of women, which women love.
Yeah,
I'm going to
good.
mansplain
You
this
seem
movie,
like the one that should
which
do it.
women love.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, you do have the
All right,
same
hey,
hair
Gri-
process.
I am the
Griffey,
most beautiful.
What was she going through then?
All right, let me tell you what she was going through, motherfucker. First off, we're married, so we've forgotten this, right? There is this thing when you are dating. There's always the hope that the person you're with is the one you're going to build a life on. As you get older in dating, which they mention that she feels that she's getting older, this and that. She's a city rat. She's an artist.
They did set it up that in one of the initial phone conversations with her friend, oh, this is like a record for you. I think they'd been dating for a year.
Right? And they say that, and she goes, this guy's definitely married. You know what you are. You're a side piece, right? So this is a girl that's been going through it. She's at that age where you're starting to think about, is this a person I can build a life with? This is a doctor. He's kind. He supports my art. He's got a cabin out.
Checks the boxes.
Yeah. This could be someone that I could build something with.
Well,
she also is obviously having struggles with that.
Yep.
And she doesn't know if she wants to be a kept woman. So I think you see this. She's going through the motions because this is societally what you're supposed to do. And I think that gives her this kind of room to make choices that aren't always immediately in her best interest because she's also involved in this relationship dynamic. She is stuck at this cabin. There's no one to come get her. Her friend in New York doesn't have a car. She's there with this guy who she's thought for a year was a good guy who was going to take care of her. She could build something with. Is she being paranoid? Is she just trying to find the way out of another great relationship?
Right.
Because this is
Sabotage.
what she does, right? So she's making choices that I think, as an audience, I fully understood that kind of the dangers, the corrosive dangers of politeness, which a lot of good horror movies attack, right? This you have to keep this polite facade up, even when you know you shouldn't.
See No Evil is like that. Or
Yes.
is it,
Yeah, See No Evil.
No,
Yeah.
Hear No
Evil.
Hear No Evil, right?
Yeah.
The McAvoy and the original is this kind of like this comedy of errors, right? Of these people who just keep up politeness because they don't realize they're in a situation where these people have broken with societal standards. So I thought her trying to get through this weekend made a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, but what was she going through?
She's going through this. She doesn't know if this is the guy. She has mistrust about him possibly being married because she's inventing him as a monster.
That's not what I'm asking. I understand the cabin thing, but like her whole backstory. Why was she only ever with a guy for a couple weeks or whatever?
Why not? A lot of people we know do that. They're just running through pussy and dick like crazy.
They'd been together for a year.
No, but I'm saying when she called her friend and her friend made it seem like she's never been in a long-term relationship.
Yeah.
But why is that?
We know people like that because you're running through it. You're playing the field. You're having fun.
Yeah,
you're
but
hooking it.
Especially
We shouldn't have
people,
to just know people
especially
like that.
people in. Look, it's tough for us. We're from small town Indiana, where everyone we know settles down, gets hitched, starts having a family early. This is an urban woman who
We lived in L.A. You knew friends that
like,
we worked with that were just out crushing pussy all the time.
When I lived in Brooklyn, it was so
I didn't.
weird and surreal because we lived in the stroll. They called it the stroller neighborhood,
Right.
where there were families,
Newborn,
young families.
yeah.
Everyone that was pushing a stroller looked like they were in their mid 40s. with their first kids. I mean, people that are young professionals, it's a later process these days.
There is also
So this is just a commonplace
there's
thing,
a
then.
biological clock too, where if you don't have kids by a certain age, your percentages of birth defects
Right.
and things go up a
And
lot.
the stakes
it becomes
are
more
higher.
dangerous for the mother.
Well, how old are they supposed to be in this? That's another
I
thing.
thought they were like 40. They felt like
That's
they were
what it
our
seemed
age.
like, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would assume she was late
Because they even
30s.
So,
said, it's
I
like,
mean,
does
so-
he want kids? Have you talked to him about this? Because she clearly didn't want kids, right? Which I think plays into the kind of story of
So,
the ending.
all right, so she's obviously fucked up. Here's what I got. So
I don't
got,
think it's fucked up. I
I
think
caught-
it's a modern take
dude, if
on
you're
romance.
40 years old and you've never been in a long-term relationship, there's something wrong.
I don't, but then again, I think we're basing this on like the societal standard, the nuclear family standard. There are a lot of people that just want to fucking do their own thing, and they get it in when they can, and they have fun with people, but they don't want to tie themselves to one person forever. Right?
What
You see
was
this
her-
a lot in marriages where you marry someone
Yeah, but it
when
does
you're
seem
20, and when they're 37, they're a completely different person.
There's
If you don't grow
conflicting
together, that's
messages
scary.
then, because it does seem like she does want to tie herself.
Well, no, I think she's going through the motions of what you're supposed to do.
Right.
But it doesn't feel right to her, and that sets the stage for this. She's going through the motions, but she didn't want to be at this cabin in the first place. She kind of at the start is getting into it, right? They're about to have sex on the chair, and then he's like, oh, you got to eat cake. And you see her face drop, and she's like, fuck, I'm trying, man.
Yeah.
But this guy is fucking killing me.
Also, she's an artist, so
Yeah.
that's her priority. And artists are prickly people. I mean, have you ever been in a relationship with an artistic type?
See, I'm
Just
the
Sam.
I'm the artist.
Just Sam. I've been in a relationship
I'm
with
the
Sam
artist
for a
in
long
the
time.
relationship. So
Yeah, we're the prickle.
But dude, hey, to that point, Heath, I feel like so I understand the whole societal.
I bet
like,
Taryn will watch this movie and be like, holy shit. Holy shit. Your wife will watch this movie and it will chill her to the core.
because that's our life.
She'll be like, Sam, eat cakes all the fucking time, dude.
I've never drugged my wife. Shit, I forgot what I was gonna say.
It's good to clear that up, though.
Yeah, you
You don't like women having authority on their lives.
Oh no.
is that-
So to Heath's point, like I understand the societal. Like, you don't want to be a kept woman because you don't get a say in whatever. But to be an artist, that's kind of the dream, isn't it? To have a doctor husband, then you can just paint all day. It seems like the dream scenario.
Well,
Why is she
which-
so?
I think you're bringing the very leave it to Beaver setup for
But if like that's
I'm being
almost to Griffey's
pragmatic.
point, why she would be making decisions that seem kind of crazy
Yeah.
on our behalf as the objective audience. Like, why would you eat the cake? I'm as suspicious as you are that this cake might be drugged.
Yeah.
Why make that decision? This is stupid.
Politeness.
And and just
so-
hope that
this was a funny
this might
thing.
work out. Like this is innocent. Even I'm
Yeah.
going to ignore my instincts.
Even
of
towards the end, she was
suspicion.
kind of clinging to that, right? Even
All
when
the
he
way
comes
through.
back after coming
Because
back.
when you tie yourself to someone, you have to have hope that they also
Yes,
have your
it's
best
hope.
interest in
Yeah.
mind, right? There was a funny thing in the theater. My mom was convinced that this was going to be like The Help and that the cake had poop in it. Because the Russian lady goes, tastes like shit.
Yeah.
And there was like a heart drawn in chocolate on it. My mom thought that was a heart drawn in poop.
I thought
and
it
so
was
her
drawn
and
in
Logan
blood.
kept watching it and they're like, that's the poop. I was like, there's no poop. What are you talking about?
Okay, I'd like to shift this into another gear.
Yeah.
So, my take on this: very mixed feelings. A lot of great qualities. Some other things I thought were kind of dumb, but I'm not totally sold yet on which way I'm leaning with it, and I was hoping we could explore that in this conversation. So, we've been talking about the cake. What is the deal with the cake?
So I think the cake is twofold, right? Because they show it and there's some kind of like wet mushiness in the cake, right? So it has this ritualistic vibe. I also think there's a lot of kind of Garden of Eden imagery in this story at times. And so for me, this was the forbidden fruit. This is her doing something she knows that she hates. This is a concession for her in the relationship, right? She does not like chocolate.
She's
He
succumbing.
knows that.
Yeah.
He keeps pushing this fucking chocolate. So she eats it and then takes another bite almost because she says it tastes like shit. Almost just to spite him. She's going to eat that fucking cake.
Well, I think she's
Right?
joking when she
so
says
I
that.
think there's a very kind of
But
the
it's also,
first
it's
bite
also
of the
sort of a
apple
wink to
imagery.
the audience, which annoyed me because the cousin's date, who is
Yeah.
we're assuming the Eastern European hooker, says when in their private moment when the cousins go off and have their private conversation, she looks over at the cake and she says, "Tastes like shit," and then that's this kind of wink to the audience.
Yeah.
This is the thing that drives me nuts with Perkins.
again,
is he's always smirking and winking and kind of like look at how cute I am.
I don't think so,
No
though,
payoff,
because
though.
again, I think in that moment he has these protections in, which is the guy's talking shit about his cousin, right? How bad he is. I thought he was going to be like a fucking hillbilly, right? Because he's like not our finest edition of the gene pool. He shows up as this like slick fucking suited guy with this super hot Eastern European prostitute.
He's sort of like
And in that moment-
Ari Gold. And,
Yes,
yeah.
he's an Ari Gold type, right?
He's like kind of weirdly charming.
And the Malcolm guy's talking about how he'll always be this empty suit if he doesn't start looking for substance. And I think in that moment of the cake, when he realizes that the prostitute lady's also eating the cake, that Malcolm's not that different than his cousin.
Right.
And he thinks he's this more folksy good man because he's dating her, who's not traditionally as attractive as the prostitute. So I think, again, it's getting at these other relationship things. She's really vetting him as this is the person I'm going to tie everything to. And when you get married, you do give up a lot. When you have a family, you give up a lot. So I think there's still those extra elements of it's not just the cake and a wink and a nod. But again, it's Malcolm treating her like she's this prostitute. Like they're not as different as he's making out in that moment.
I think that's a great assessment. One thing about this moment, though, that really got under my skin in an annoying way, Griffey, you are almost always ahead of the story. I am imagining that you saw this coming a mile away too. I felt like I
They
was
tell
so
you at the
far,
beginning that it's coming.
I felt like I was, exactly.
Yeah.
I felt like I was so far in front of this, ahead to your point, Sam.
They
of
could have
the
just cut out
character.
the beginning and it would have been a hell of a lot
I kind of
better movie.
agree.
The
I
opening
kind of agree.
montage?
Yeah,
Yes.
if they just would have cut that out, it would have been a better movie in my mind.
I think the opening montage is setting a tonality of this is the woman's experience for ages, right? I think there's a quality of that too. It's almost this original sin of men destroying women to build their own lives upon.
So this is part of the experience of watching a horror movie, especially one that's marketed as there are secrets and there are twists, there are turns, and we're not going to tell you anything about the plot because you have to go in cold, right? When I'm like 15 minutes into the movie and I kind of already know the whole game, that's annoying.
See,
now,
I'll
this
gi-
is
I'll
probably
give you this.
this is probably a better
Yeah.
movie watched upon second viewing, I would imagine.
I think most Perkins movies have that quality for me. I'll give you this. I knew exactly what was I didn't know like I couldn't have told you exactly how it all worked out. There's not a moment of this movie you don't feel like Malcolm
He's the bad
is setting
guy.
her up for
Exactly.
something. It's when they go get the fish and there's this really close up of this disgusting fish and you're like, "Oh, okay. I get it." You totally understand immediately that she is in danger the whole time. To me, again, that doesn't detract from the movie for me, right? When I went and saw Got Out, I knew black people were in danger by white people. That did not deter me from enjoying the movie. And I knew the whole time what was coming in that. Again, not exactly. I couldn't have written you the, colloquial, what is it? The coagula theory? Or whatever, the colloquia?
I have
That's
no
a bird's
clue.
dick. That's not right. Yeah.
That's a bird's dick.
cloakia is the bird's wrapped dick where they tie him together.
Caligula was the
Caligula?
Roman. Yeah.
That's the Roman guy.
Yeah,
it was something
yeah.
about that. It was like a cocoon
some
or
weird
whatever.
ceremony they had to do. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
Colloquia.
I couldn't have told you exactly how, but I knew that these black people were in danger. That doesn't detract. When you watch Texas Chainsaw Massacre, you know those teenagers are
Well,
meeting
yeah, but
a
it's way
chainsaw.
more vague in that one, man. Like, doesn't that open with like a black dude running for his life? And
It opens with a black guy getting abducted by white people.
exactly.
I knew black people were
I know,
in
but you
danger.
don't know what they're doing. In this movie, it's literally
There's no
dude,
way you knew that this was a fucking
Hey
a
man.
brood
Well,
of Junji
the-
Ito fucking children.
Dude, they have a montage where it goes into pieces. So where they explain it so well that you have the first images where they're dating and it's all happy-go-lucky, and then you have the images where they're like moving in together or whatever, and then you have the final image where each one of them turns around and is like, "What the fuck?"
So
like that tells you
what?
exactly the progression of events that's going to happen
Right.
in this movie that you're about to
Right.
watch, and you pay $12 for.
Have you ever seen Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer? It
No.
starts with a fucking
Griffin,
series of dead
these-
women,
these-
and it's called Henry Portrait. of a Serial
These are not perfect comps. I don't think they're perfect
Yeah.
comps. I
think they're pretty good.
these are straw man arguments.
I'm
Like,
hoping that Robert Gallegos will give me a Hail Griffey for these beautiful. I saw a Hail Sam flying around on the internet, and I was not.
for instance, Get Out. Yes, you know the game, right?
Yeah.
But you don't know if the girlfriend's in on it, right? The Allison Williams character. There are no other
That was also another one. I suspected her immediately just because of casting.
you suspect.
but
You suspect. But with this movie, there aren't any other characters to question. Like, you know that these two men are here to do something to these women, and of course you get it because this is my Sam take. where it's like
Yes.
that wouldn't happen. That's a construction. That's contrived.
This is a
Is
movie.
when the Eastern European call girl goes out into the woods and she's trying to call an Uber.
Yeah,
or
she's like,
something.
Uber.
Yes. Well, I mean, if she's talking to herself in her first language,
Why would she be speaking in English? Yeah.
Exactly. That took me right out of it.
It's nitpicky, but it's-
I assumed she could speak English the whole time. She just didn't speak to this douchebag.
I know,
client.
but why would she speak English to herself?
All right. So yeah,
She's practicing.
you guys may say those things are like nitpicky with me, but in my mind, that specifically tells you how much thought they put into this movie.
Can I say that I do not love
Which is
that
not much.
the Sam take is spreading like a pandemic?
Well, no, man, it needs like,
Two-thirds
if you
of this
don't
fucking
if you don't
podcast.
put thought into like the simplest of scenes.
You think there's no thought in this scene?
Yeah. Of course I do.
Conviction.
I-
Why?
I think the problem
Because she's
is
speaking English.
I think the problem is you start poking holes in things once you're getting bored or you're
Yeah.
feeling
so
like it's tedious.
if that scene was subtitled, that would make the movie better to
we
you.
wouldn't be talking about it right now.
That's true.
That's bullshit.
Also, why would she be speaking in English? I need an Uber.
It's a movie with fucking magical
Hey man,
wood
it's
creatures
a movie,
and
but
shit.
I want my movies to be good. That's the difference between me and you.
Wow.
I would like them to make sense and be
All
good.
right.
This
All right.
is ludicrous.
Getting a little spicy.
Again, what I'm saying is, I think the critique, and we've done, now that we've kind of changed the format, we talk about these movies every fucking week. Of all, let's say we've done 100, I think we've done 100 movies on this, right? Some of them are me and Alex, whatever. 98% of them, you know exactly where the train is going. To me, that's not a critique. That does not bother me at all.
Were there any twists that, as the story unfolds, that drew you deeper into the story?
I see. To me, I was drawn in the whole way. I was so captivated by the performances that I maintained an engagement with it the whole time. I wasn't like gripping my seat, like, oh, I didn't see that coming. You mostly see these things coming, but I went and saw it with my mom. She had those like good moments, like, oh, like she was fucking scared, man. There were things that were happening that kept it. And again, I think Osgood Perkins' really beautiful qualities. He just has this really weird lens that he looks at things. Mm-hmm. And so the staging, when she turns around and there's the Eastern European prostitute and a littler version of her, right?
Yeah.
And then at one time there's a baghead lady. One time she's on the phone and a fucking apparition appears behind her. I just found myself captivated by the imagery.
So what are all those moments? That's what the cake is supposed to unlock. It's some sort of like, because she even says, I feel like I was on mushrooms or drugs.
To me, the cake is whatever they put in there. There's some kind of fleshy red
yeah, he had a line
element.
in there too, and he had a cool line. I did like that line where he's like, one nibble of the secret cake puts you at ease for all of...
Yeah.
And
Again,
is that to lull them into some sort of...
No, it's supposed to make them pass out. But then
passivity.
Well, I think it makes them a target, right? And again, the moment when she
That's my other question.
When she meets the cake, it is her consenting to the will of this man she's stuck with, right?
Right.
So I think by eating the cake, you set yourself as a target.
Yeah.
The movie also plays with this kind of dual timelines, right? The second coming of the mother.
Wait, is Griffey
And
victim blaming right now?
No, I'm not victim blaming.
She ate
I'm
the
saying
cake, so
ate
she
the
deserves
cake.
whatever she gets?
She ate the cake. I think she sees extra things that the other women who have been destroyed do not.
Because
She starts
she's obviously
seeing-
special.
She
She
sees the history of the
Yeah.
thing. She sees all this stuff. Yeah.
There's another thing about her that gets way into spoiler territory, which do we
All
want to talk
spoilers.
about?
All spoilers, yeah.
So it's revealed at the end that she is the spitting image
Mm-hmm.
of this woman that the brothers killed as or captured. They didn't necessarily kill her. They captured her.
No, they did kill her for sure. Because
Okay.
that bullet hole in her head is...
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
Yep.
But so they capture, eventually kill her. She's a pregnant woman, and she spawns these creatures.
Right.
But anyway, that woman, which this is like 200 years,
200 years, yeah.
prior, she's the spitting image of our main protagonist.
Mm-hmm.
And so I guess the assumption is that he captures her to bring her back for them. The whole deal, the reveal is that they have made this lifelong deal with these creatures in exchange for human flesh.
Yeah.
They get everlasting life, or they get to kick the can down the road a while longer. And so he targets her because she looks like their mother.
Yeah.
I found that very strange.
And it brings me to my second problem with the movie.
I was going to address that, but if you just want to keep fucking shooting shots, that's fine.
Now, you go ahead and dress it.
So,
I'll come up later.
again, I think this is not necessarily a second coming thing. I don't think she's of this creature, right? What I think is that it's showing the arrogance of Malcolm. the arrogance of running through the ages, just destroying woman after woman after woman. When Malcolm sees a woman that looks exactly like the mystical creature that he fucking began this whole life of, I mean, I guess immortality and money and everything, right? He's got great wealth and prestige and all this stuff. Yeah. When he sees the woman who looks like the spitting image of the creature he destroyed, anyone who knows anything about fairy tales would know that's not the one. Don't do that. This is the classic moment in a fairy tale where you fucking go too far.
Yeah.
This is, the fucking flying too close to the sun with fucking wings. Well, he knows not to fucking pick that one, and he does anyways because he's gotten away with this for so long.
Well,
when we
might
go
be
in that
bored,
basement,
yeah.
there's fucking boxes everywhere. He's killed so many women. I think this is, again, it's taking him back to try to find some meaning in the whole thing, right?
Also, man, I don't know about you guys, but I can't remember what I did last week. How the hell are you going to remember someone from 200 years ago?
That's a significant...
I think, if you had met a mystical being that you murdered and or did other stuff to, and it gave you a infinitely long life, I'm assuming that face would be crystal clear in your mind.
Maybe someday we'll find out.
There's still time. Lots of time. I don't know. Time's running out, Sam. You better find her fast.
Yeah, it's true.
That's right. Well, that was Sam's other critique, is he's like, that's how hot the guy was, and he's had unlimited time. And I was like, that's insane. Sam took umbrage that this guy lived forever and was not hot enough or had a good haircut.
First off, he's butchering my words. I didn't take umbrage with just that. But get a better...
That was one of many umbrages.
At least get a better haircut. I could understand if you're stuck in the body that you're... But also, if you're stuck in the body that you were in when you killed her, you'd be a little boy. So
that's a great point that I never thought about until now.
If you knew you would live forever, why the fuck would you go to the gym?
Yeah, but why did he age to a certain point and then stop?
Yeah, why would you stop at 45?
They don't say that he's never going to age. They said he'll live a long life. His aging could just be slowed like Wolverine.
Right, okay.
Wolverine eventually starts to look older.
Actually, they don't. They go to lengths to say they don't know what's happening at all.
Because what they do, they talk about this fable, right?
They don't know
and
what
he
they
says,
are.
as the great scene when he starts unfurling it all for her. And he's like, as the folk tale goes, you catch a fish, you pull it into your boat, and the dying fish says, please just throw me back.
Yeah.
And I'll give you all these wishes, right? Or whatever. And he said, the thing he took from that story is that the fish doesn't have the imagination or the kind of soul of a being worth saving to save itself with the wishes, right? It's an exploitative mindset he's in from the start.
So he's using the monsters.
Yes, exactly. 100% he is. And we don't know what the other wishes for, right? It could have been immortality, wealth. Did he even make wishes? Did it happen? He does not understand the power he has tread upon. He just destroys it. And again, I think this movie
He's
has
had 200 years to understand it.
Well, how do you understand it? He's not running
I don't know. Go to the
experiments and
fucking
shit.
library. Do something.
You don't think he's tried at all to understand?
Well, they didn't make it seem like he tried it all. They didn't make it seem like... Okay, so this is my second problem with the movie. They didn't make it seem like this guy has tried to do anything.
Except crush puss through the ages.
Yeah, but there's like 12 boxes. So you've crushed 12...
There's way more than...
You've crushed 12 pussies in 200 years.
Maybe he's also getting it in on people that aren't... He's not bringing back to the fucking... cabin.
Yeah, but they don't ever say that. I want to see that. If it's a movie, I need to know what this guy's fucking doing.
You just want to see all the pussies he's crushed for 200 years?
Not just the pussies. I'm not
talking... That'd be a long-ass movie!
I'm not talking about sexual stuff. I'm just saying you need to be way more impressive. You've been alive for 200 years, and this is who you are?
You think... Yeah, you're judging him against what? Like Connor McLeod? Or like a cool antique thing?
There's people that have been alive for 40 years, and they're just way cooler than you. So, like... You've had
long life does not mean you're cool. He might not have been cool when he shot that. He was what, a fucking Quaker with a little rifle?
He could have worked on being cool.
No, you can't work on being cool. You're either cool or you're not. When you meet a really cool person, they're not trying really hard to cultivate being cool all day.
Where are all your cool old clothes? Like, you don't have any of your old shit that you had from the years?
You think he'd be cooler if he was running around in a fucking low-cut V Quaker shirt?
You watched Highlander, right? That guy had all kinds of cool shit.
No, when I watch Highlander, he ran around in a McGruff the Crime Dog flasher coat with fucking New Balance shoes. He was not cool at all.
You go back to his apartment, and what's in it?
Cool shit.
Cool shit.
You're right. You got me on that. He has a cooler apartment than Malcolm.
But this might have been sort of the point.
And he's way cooler.
And the message of this is that
he's empty.
Just normal mid guys that aren't that exceptional think they are.
Yeah, but then, I have to question, if that is your message, then why make a movie about it?
I don't understand that at all. What about this is not cinematic enough to be a story?
So when I go to watch a movie at a movie theater and I spend a lot of money to do
Okay, so you spend $12, we see the start of your beefs.
I expect...
Because you haven't bought Regal Pass yet.
I expect some thought to be put into the villains. I expect the villains to be cool. I expect the protagonists to be cool. And if they're not, I'm going to tell you the truth.
Not everyone can be cinema of cool. I think that she's cool.
I don't know, man. How much
I
money
think
did
the
they
ghosts are fucking cool.
If they spent at least $1 million on this movie, I feel like it should have been cool.
I did not think the creatures were very cool.
I see. This is the other thing. I'm really in the bag for Japanese curse movies. I was telling Sam, if you have the Junji Ito entire collection like I do, these are creatures straight out of Junji Ito.
Is that right?
And I thought they were. Yeah, the cover of Shiver actually is the lady with the long neck.
I do agree with
I
Griffey
thought
on
those
that.
were super cool.
I personally thought the last 15 minutes of the movie was awesome. When the creatures start crawling towards her and there's shit coming out of their
and you
mouth.
know what the hardest thing to do in a movie is? This is something they say in screenwriting, right? Everyone can write a good first act. Some people can write a good act 2. The best of the best can write a good act 3. So you're inherently telling me that the script did have some good stuff because it landed in a place that was fulfilling.
Well, the visuals were really cool at the end. That's what I'm saying. The visuals were really cool. The character, I mean, whatever. Yeah. Fine.
Sam's the fish on the hook, but he's not giving me any wishes, just grief. Yeah.
I do feel like there was something missing. It seemed like the ingredients were there. It just didn't all come together in a fully satisfying way. The kid that was sitting in front of me, probably college or high school, he stood up at the very end. Worst fucking movie I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, I don't think this hits the average college bro. I think this is built for people our age who have had some fucking ups and downs in life.
I think these are difficult. These are difficult because if you're David Lynch, for some reason, whatever his alchemy is, that guy makes it work.
Yeah.
But again, I think Perkins is like the fucking $5 DVD bin version of David Lynch. Yeah. I think he has a really unique and interesting point of view that he sees his movies through, right? And he doesn't feel like he's just trying to make a cool art house movie. I think he's got it, man. And again, I applaud him for trying something a little harder to land because to me, the monkey was the most useless 2 hours of my life. Like, what was the point of that movie? Yeah. It had nothing to say about anything.
The monkey was very cynical.
Yeah, it was just like it's funny. Oh, there's funny gags and shit. And like, none of it was funny to me. None of it was interesting. The acting wasn't good. This delivered the elements I want in a movie. Great performances. It's kind of murky, but I think the imagery, the thing I hate is when you go art house and you can clearly just tell someone's trying to make like a mysterious movie.
Like the Joker
and
too.
I don't believe they have any good answers, right? I bet Osgood Perkins has really good concrete answers to what all this means. I think it's a movie we might have to watch more than once.
I agree.
And to me, I think that's great. I got so much enjoyment just in the last 24 hours just pondering. What's the meaning of the river? Why do we keep seeing her face in the river? What's the locket? Right? What is the ghost, right? What does that mean for her to become the mother of the ghost,
what
right?
Do you think
I think
the
there's so
was?
many of the I think the locket is these creatures, and I think the river kind of is the imagery of the time keeps going. All these women have been destroyed, and Malcolm's able to just keep going through the ages doing all these crimes because he is a man of prestige is more important than all these women, right? I think that is the creatures reaching out to her, that they see something in her that is different, that she could take on the mantle of the mother of these creatures and kind of take the power. I think they're giving her that locket to remind her. And again, I didn't know who the locket was. I personally think it was their mother, the two boys' mother.
I think it was because they do a zoom in at it at the end, and it looks a lot like Tatiana Maslany.
See, I didn't think it was her. I thought it was the boy's mother. It might have been her. I don't know.
Well, she played the boy.
Because why would the mystical creature have a picture in like a fucking fancy 1800s dress?
It is frustrating because there are a lot of questions left unanswered, and maybe that feels a bit arrogant. Like, oh, well, you're going to want to go in and excavate this whole movie for me. There's just not quite enough there to make it feel like I'm compelled to go back. Now, okay, so here's the difference for me with Perkins and, say, a filmmaker like Lynch or like Yorgos Lanthimos, which has a banger of a movie out right now.
Yorgos has it in spades.
Yeah.
So I went back. I've been on a Yorgos kick. I went back and watched The Lobster. Actually, I had never seen The Lobster.
No shit.
Went back and watched it. And it's one of those things where, okay, this movie is weird. I don't know what's going on the whole time, but I'm intrigued. Like, and then when you are reflecting on it, like, oh, I get it. It makes sense. It really inspires a lot of investigation of what was the meaning of this? Why was it this way? It's frustrating in the moment, and I'm sure that's how that kid felt. He probably never saw a movie that challenged his expectation or challenged his perception of what's happening in a movie, because we've been so spoon-fed for the past 20 years, especially
the cinematic diet for someone that age has been disgusting.
Yeah. And I think we're vulnerable to that now too. But watching The Lobster, I think the difference is there was always something to grab onto in a very intriguing way, and feeling kind of ahead of this movie in a lot of ways. I think there were breadcrumbs that lead you to a more meaningful story, but there was also a lot of dragging ass that was happening that just really kept me from fully engaging and caring enough to want to go back.
You guys both said this. I never found that. I thought the little scare moments were dropped in wonderfully. I was so captivated by Tatiana Maslany's character.
Great performance.
She's fucking incredible in this movie. I fucking love the choices, man. And I thought that just capturing that dread, I think, is the hardest thing in a horror movie. There are so few horror movies I see now that really give me like an unease and a dread. Like we're in a really bad situation that actually feels dangerous, right? The only other movie I can think of this whole year that did that, like not even Weapons. I liked Weapons. I kind of was like, okay, this is fun. I never felt like dread in that movie. The Rule of Jenny Penn. Like I really had fucking real
it's
dread.
a similar movie because he's trapped in the
exactly. There's something about just capturing that real fucking like I'm worried about these people that this movie just did for me.
Here's where for me that failed a little bit, and this might not be fair. I need to go back in and reassess. But the scene where the cousin comes in, he's the primary boyfriend. He's gone off, and we find out later it's so that he doesn't have to watch his girlfriend, because he says he really loved her. You know, it is a good exploration of this nice guy predator.
I think that's his cope, is that he's a good guy who's earned everything on his own. Like you see this with Elon, like I was self-built. It's like, bullshit, your dad was rich. You see these guys coping all the time to have this like everyman good guy story. I think that's Malcolm's cope, right?
It's also the like liberal feminist guy,
who I'm really on your side.
I'm a what do they call it?
An ally.
An ally.
I'm an ally.
I'm an ally, but in really,
I'll feed you to other women.
Yes,
that's fine.
You're just the
I
same.
really hate what's happening to you.
Really, you're just the same shitbag as every other frat guy. Right. But I'm sensitive, so I mean that I get what they're doing there. The scene where the actual shitbag, the cousin, comes in, the real danger. She lets him in. She's in an awkward situation. Was great. Very suspenseful, very well executed, and then it just sort of like peters out.
Well, he disappeared.
I disagree. I disagree.
What happened there, man?
This is the crucial moment where, to me, it didn't become the cookie cutter journey I thought I was on. Because what happens is he comes in. He wants to drink scotch with him. He's surprised she's there. He's looking around like if Malcolm got, like what's happening, right?
Yeah.
He goes and sets up the scotch. She goes into the bathroom and locks. She's looking at the vent. She hears sound. She's like, how the fuck am I going to get out of here? He grabs the cleaver, right? He's going up the stairs to get her. He doesn't make it. We see something raise his body up with his fucking neck hanging on by just a tendon.
Yeah.
And he's dragged away. That's the moment where I saw that was the power dynamic shifting. This wasn't going to be these two guys feeding this woman to the monster like all the rest. That to me was the shift where you're like, oh, something's happening with this monster and this ritual. It's not going to go the same way. And I thought that was a fun turn of pace for me.
Yeah, I felt like he just disappeared.
No. You literally see his body getting
dragged up. Is that what that
up.
is? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I missed
and there's
that.
like a head barely hanging on.
Too. Okay.
You see it through the slats of the stairs. The monsters killed that guy.
Okay, so that makes it make a lot more sense.
And he fucking fed them. The prostitute got eaten, so he had done his job, and he still gets eaten.
Well, no, she finds his watch, so I figured they killed him, and I thought that what had happened was they had to kill the girls in his shirt.
That makes more sense. Okay, so these are some of the things I wanted to explore.
There was
a
shot through the slats of the stairs as he was coming up where you see his body get elevated to the ceiling. Okay. The spirits took him.
So
because they were trying to protect her.
Mm-hmm.
That's why.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. And that's when I was like, ooh, okay, we're going to have some kind of fun
because she looks like their mother.
Shift. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
But doesn't that kind of take away the suspense then if you know that they are protecting her?
To me, at that point, you're watching this woman kind of being tortured by these spirits and these images. This guy's clearly in on it. I thought that was the moment where the movie turns, where it's not so much is she going to win or not? It's the catharsis of seeing her win. At that point, I was really invested in seeing Malcolm get it.
Yeah.
Right? And I thought that was cool. So when they go down in the basement, right, Malcolm still thinks he's winning. He's talking shit, and he's like, I actually loved you. He's going back. Like, he does that great scene where he opens the door. He's like, the bathroom doesn't really lock.
Yeah, that was good.
It just seems nice to give people the illusion of power. Great moment for this kind of movie. And he goes down, and he's talking to all the other girls. He's like, hey, meet, Liz. She's going to join you. And he's kind of like got his little, like, Leon the Professional glasses, and he's listening to records like a real cunt. And she's screaming in the basement. He turns the music up. And in the basement, we meet all the children and the monsters they've been feeding. And again, to me, that wasn't a moment where I thought she was going to get eaten. But I was so fucking captivated by watching her confront this kind of long line of sins. Right? I was telling Sam, to me, it gave me Salem witch trial imagery, right? That the girl who was drooling was drowned for being a witch. The girl who was breathing the smoke, that was the, burned as a witch. The long neck was the woman who was hung for a witch. And then they had the one that had all the faces of the victims. I thought that was really cool imagery. I was really into it. And it didn't matter to me that I knew Malcolm was going to get it. I was just invested in it. And I wanted to see Malcolm
Here's a
get
question
it.
for you. Why do you think... so that was a terrifying scene, right? And they decided to have her just start cackling. What was that all about?
I think she's laughing at the absurdity of the whole thing.
The absurdity of the
when
whole
you're
thing.
confronted with such absolute madness, like, what can you do but laugh? She's just in this basement just fucking seeing these absolute abominations and horrors, this long line of destruction of women past.
Yeah.
And I think there is just a moment of like, what the fuck? Like this absurdist
Like
thing.
loses it.
You guys are fans of fantasy and J-horror and all these other, influences. It does... I have a harder time with it just on a visceral level, just on an experiential level. I do get taken out sometimes when you see the monster, when the monsters are revealed. It's sort of all the mystery and the questions get answered, and it's usually disappointing. Something like The Ring, which we always talk about, which is always so effective. There's always that air of kind of like, what the fuck is it?
Yeah.
Like, what is it? And you get little glimpses, but it just sort of burrows in and taps into that fear of the unknown.
Yeah, and they pay it off at the very end after they thought they've won.
Sure.
And she finally comes out of the TV again in like this amazing reveal of how it all happened.
And it's terrifying.
This is how powerful she actually is.
And
She can
in
enter
a movie
your
like
world.
this, it's going to be better watched a second time once it's revealed. But you're kind of like disappointed. Oh, these are the monsters. This is the thing. This is the threat. It's just this.
I actually thought they were really cool. Like I was, really
but not scary.
No, but again, I
thought they were scary.
I don't think
when the one lady took off her thing and it was like
But
five faces.
to me, the monster and the suspense that I'm really responding to are the human characters, the boyfriend, the brother, and then the supernatural aspect of it is just kind of pulling me away from that.
Gotcha.
I'll give you this. I do think movies like this that lean so much on metaphor and almost an unreality. Like there's moments in this movie where it feels unreal. Like we never know what form they present in, right? At one point he says, did they present to you as women? They're not women, right?
Yeah, they're not.
So they're trying to tell me this whole thing is real the whole time, right? But there's like the scene when she looks through the binoculars and see the girl's face in trash bags. That's not there. Like that's 100% not there. These things fucking ate it.
So why is she thinking that though? That's what I want to know.
When she takes the cake, I think it influences her differently than the other women that have, and she's seeing extra abilities. I think now she's seeing other women who have died, where clearly the Eastern European prostitute doesn't seem to be having the same mystical journey.
Well, but then she does show up back in her kitchen, and then she has that awesome line, which is, I'm already in there, or whatever.
Yeah.
She's like, are you coming in? And she's like, I'm already in.
The thing that confused me is what was the experience that the prostitute was having? Because it just seemed like
I think she was just trying to
hungover.
get back to the city because she just fucking banged the zero.
Right,
Now
but
she's ready to go back.
My question with the cake is, what did the cake actually do for her, except for maybe make her a target?
It makes
no.
her a marker.
So
when she eats the cake, she is conceded to them, and now she is the
No.
target for these
Not
things.
only that, the cake doesn't just make you a target, it debilitates you, because they made a big point of making it seem like she was drunk.
Yeah, passivity.
And even when she was leaving,
Right, she
he's
was
like,
on drugs.
oh, you fell down. Oh, and he picked her up. So I think the cake is supposed to make him basically
Docile.
pass out.
Docile.
It's basically a mix.
Yeah, but that doesn't make sense because they actually didn't attack her until after it had somewhat worn off.
Well,
No, she ate the
woke up the
entire
next
cake.
morning. Yeah, I think what you see with when Liz eats the whole cake, she wakes up almost having this vision of like a lantern behind her and the gun. which we learn later is the kid's in the gun with the mom
Yeah.
in the pigsty, right?
Right.
She's having these visions already. I think what you see in Liz that's different than the prostitute is she goes back down and fucking houses this cake. Because the guy wakes up the next morning, Malcolm, and he kind of sees it in the trash, and he's like, hey, are you okay? Because he's shocked that, like, she's not destroyed by this
Right.
thing. So I think, to me, that is her having some kind of extra abilities and wanting to see further and wanting to see more. Whereas the
He does say
prostitute probably
that-
had the one piece, and it was just
He
chill.
does say that she's special.
Yeah.
I don't know that this is all interesting. I don't know that it quite comes together. It leaves open
Yeah.
too many questions,
It's
too
kinda
many, too many opportunities to poke holes in it.
Well, this is the thing. I'm not here to say that I have a perfect like through line that I figured it all
Sure.
out. What I'm saying is the unknowing to me does not affect my viewing of the movie. To me, it was really fun to just be like in limbo. Like it was cool to me to just kind of float through the movie and not know the answers, and then to think about it as I keep having more and more time. That to me is perfectly fine for some movies.
Well,
I don't know that there's a crystal clear through line through any of it, right? Like at the end when she becomes the mother, great scene when Malcolm starts aging fast and he wakes up and he's strung up
And
and
she makes
she's
him eat the
upside
cake.
down and she's got the eyes. And I was like, what does that mean now that she's chosen to be a mother but without a father? Like what does any of that mean?
That I think is the issue that a lot of critics are having. A lot of people that are reacting negatively
Right.
to this is it feels muddled.
But this
Like,
is the
whereas
other
like
thing.
something like The Lobster, you get those revelations.
Right,
out
but I
of
think, I mean, I guess, but I also think that critics are doing a bit of a disservice by constantly, like, when a new Marvel movie comes out, be like, oh, paint by numbers.
Oh,
Marvel.
look, I agree.
And then when these movies come out and they can't immediately fucking suss it out,
Yeah.
they just start shitting on it.
I agree.
No wonder we get a fucking
You're
just
right.
high sugar diet of fucking bullshit cinema.
Absolutely.
Like, I think the more we sit with this movie, and I think a second and third viewing, which most people are not going to give this movie, I think you're going to find those lanes. To me, the best art, like when you see the best paintings in the world, it's not telling you a crystal clear story all the time. It's evoking feelings and emotions. And to me, this movie was the first Osgood Perkins movie that really took me there. And I was like,
Same.
fuck, this director might have another gear that I did not see coming.
I agree with you. I think people get frustrated, and I include myself in this, where initially you're trying to be smart. You're telling me that this is there's more to think about than just what's on the surface. But at the same time, there's enough that seems, I don't want to say dumb. That's rude.
Right.
But that's not, you're not as smart as you think you're trying to be.
Right.
And then you start to judge it and become a bit antagonistic against the filmmaker and what they're presenting you.
Yeah.
And then you probably do, to your point, end up missing a lot of value that's being provided. And so it's just a little bit uneven. Like for me, overall, the experience was positive. And I agree. The more that I've reflected on it, the more interesting and substantive it has become. But, there are still some things where I'm like, not... Like when we did the Begonia podcast, which we recorded earlier, it will come out later. I mean, that was just kind of like unfurling more and more and more, just finding the value under this rock, under that rock. Like there was so much depth and richness in that, and this has some of those aspects to it. But you're also turning over a rock, and there's just like, well, a big question mark and nothing.
Or it's just
over it.
unanswered,
It's much more uncanny. And again, I think it's very unfair to compare Osgood Perkins to Yorgos, who might be the best filmmaker going right now.
Agreed.
Like, to me, when a Yorgos movie comes out, I just assume it's going to be awesome.
And-
He's the best active filmmaker right now to me in the world.
And I think that it's sort of an all or nothing thing, right? Because we are so used to having movies that ask these big questions, they have to be almost perfect. And the ones that don't totally land the plane, but still challenge us as audiences, if it's not immediately, or not immediately, but wholly obvious that this is greatness, then we dismiss it.
Yeah, and again, I think it's we are the victims of just a fucking completely blood dry culture. Like, movies have never culturally had less meaning than right now. And I think in the 70s, you saw movies like Don't Look Now and this and that. It's kind of this big exploration on the grief of losing a child, right? This unimaginable horror. And I think a lot of audiences, if that came out today, would have the same, like, I don't know, this doesn't all, I can't immediately run a through line through this. And I'm just happy to see someone like Osgood Perkins take a chance at not just keep making The Monkey 5 times in a row. Yeah. Like, why not just ride that wave and just make these fucking stupid schlockfest? When I saw him step up, and again, just the blocking of half the frame's always gone, right? What is that? The movie is telling us we have to have authorship in it.
Yeah.
And to me, just being able to have a movie in theaters and have that experience is so fucking nutritious for us in our cinematic diet. I just watched Predator Badlands. Really fun movie. It's just fucking Avatar. It's the same fucking thing over and over.
I know, but if you watch Predator Badlands, you also have to say, hey, they did good camera work and shit too, right?
Predator Badlands, I love Predator Badlands.
All right,
but it's derivative. There's no ideas in that movie.
Yeah, but see, I feel like a lot of the ideas that you're saying are just shit that you thought of in your own head.
Right, but that's a great thing,
isn't it?
Isn't it great to have a movie where we can all have different ideas of what it means? They literally made a documentary, Room 237, with 6 or 7 people all telling us that The Shining means 100% different thing. They all make beautifully compelling cases. That's why The Shining's one of the best movies ever made. And I'm not here to tell you that this is one of the best movies ever. Okay. I don't even know if it'll make my top 10 of the year. I'm leaning like a 3.5, 4 on this movie.
You hear about...
I loved the experience of the movie, the maturity of the filmmaking. The performances were stunning.
And
I liked the finale. I liked the fucking
finale
mystical
was cool.
finale.
Let's get into that. But just to put a point, a bow on this, is it is nice that we do get the opportunity to, in a American studio system, to be able to chew on a film.
Yes. To have Begonia and this like back to back to me, I was like, this is what we should have
and again, time. You're not getting as much nutrition out of this as you are something like Begonia.
But to be fair, he had to fight tooth and nail to get to Begonia,
But that's what I mean.
How many movies did that dude make that were awesome before he was known?
Right. Yorgos is the best modern filmmaker we have. Yeah. Osgood Perkins is a horror filmmaker, which inherently starts you at a way lower rung than Yorgos. That's just the facts.
I'm just going to say, I feel like Osgood Perkins has been given a hand up, and he's kind of failed.
Oh, for sure. And I think I saw you comment on that critic who was like, Osgood Perkins just gets to do whatever because Neon thinks he's an auteur.
Yeah.
I think this movie is fucking beautiful.
And because of people like you, he's probably going to keep getting more money, which is okay, I guess.
Okay, why would you see this movie and say, I don't want to see this guy's movies anymore? Even if it doesn't land all the way, this is incredible filmmaking to me.
I mean, I didn't like it.
Maybe this guy will get a better script down the road. This guy, with this movie, he showed me. He is not just the guy who kind of came in and had a marketing splash in Long Legs that to me felt very vacuous. Yeah. And then The Monkey's a Stephen King thing. It made all this money, but was dog shit. This showed me a guy...
Seems like you're talking a lot of shit about this guy.
This shows me that this director has a whole other level of work that I did not think he was capable of. And yes, is this my favorite movie ever? No. I was fully captivated and enjoying every second of the ride of this movie.
So it was literally
and I fully admit, I don't know what
it was just the framing and stuff that got it for you?
No, I thought, again, movies are an art of piling lots of artist decisions and moments together, right?
Yeah.
It is the most collaborative art form of any art form, and it's not even close. You have so many opportunities for a bad craftsman to destroy your movie, right? Mm-hmm. I thought everyone on this movie pulled together and made a really bizarre, interesting film. From the blocking, to the staging, to the set design, to the fucking... Because they kept doing that shot where they just looked up at the empty ceiling for no reason. That was captivating to me. The fucking boxes, the monsters at the end, the fucking dipping him in honey. Like, everything about this movie... I found fully captivating, and I admit, I can't tell you exactly what it all means. That, to me, is a beautiful
So, you like the imagery of the movie, but what's the substance of the movie?
Well, we've been talking about
it. I think we have to put a very fine point on this.
I still don't understand it.
We're 3 men talking about this. When Amy watches this movie, it will be way scarier to her than it is to us.
To me, the disappointing discourse that's happening with this film is... And this was my reaction to the IndieWire critic, who was complaining that Perkins has given... And, this was sort of my knee-jerk reaction, too, that you mentioned off the top of the show. His line of credit's got to be running out.
Yep.
I think we're in a little bit of... we're too aware of the narratives happening around these movies,
Yes.
and we are not exactly engaging with the story and the film itself. Osgood Perkins got a long leash after long legs,
Yeah.
and a lot of people, and this was mentioned in the article in IndieWire, that a lot of horror fans were put off by how much hype Longlegs was given. And then, as they contend with it, did it deserve all of that? And then follow up with The Monkey, which was a very shallow endeavor. Now you have this, which
Dog shit.
I think this film really is Perkins going back more to where he likes to sit with what he was doing with Black Hood's daughter. It's more contemplative.
Gretel and
it's
Han
smaller.
Solo had a lot
Yeah,
of this kind of like just this vibe movie.
Yeah, exactly. So it's getting a lot of unfair criticism, I think, for things that have nothing to do with the film
Right.
itself.
We're talking about him as a product of Neon.
Yes.
We're talking about box office. We're talking about all this stupid shit that doesn't have anything to do
Right.
with the movie. Now, when you get into the movie, like Sam and you have brought up very valid contentions, right? That these things didn't work for you. That's fine. Everything I've read about this movie are just people talking shit about Osgood Perkins.
Yeah.
People who have liked his movies more than me.
Yeah.
And I don't fucking understand that.
And this is a problem that actors have as well, because their personas in culture infect, like Tom Cruise is an example of this, infect the movie. And it's really difficult to separate that sometimes. And I think an average audience, they don't know all. They're not online reading filmmaking business articles. They don't know probably even know who Osgood Perkins really is.
Yeah.
Like, he made that one movie one time.
Go
Or
to
Anthony Perkins
You
or
could go
anybody.
to any bar here in Indiana, and you ask 20 people who Osgood Perkins is. Good luck finding one who knows, unless they're dressed in like a fucking heavy metal t-shirt. Now, if you said, have you seen Longlegs? Maybe more.
Yeah.
Right? The average person doesn't give a fuck about this stuff.
Right. And so that was my comment, is that I think the critic is in this bubble that we kind of live in too.
Oh, we're
and that
100% in this bubble.
and that we're bringing into this movie, but it's really unfair to the movie. I mean, we feel a little bit full, oversaturated on Osgood Perkins. This is his third film in just over a year.
Hey, man,
Well,
the guy
so-
fucking works, dude. Good
To
for
be
him.
fair, though, it is a double-edged sword, because I feel like the movie no one would be talking about it as much if it wasn't Osgood Perkins.
No,
like if it was
'cause-
just some random director's first movie, you'd be like, okay, this is a decent movie.
Whatever you think about
I even feel like
Longlegs,
you would
that
say
movie
that.
was a sensation.
I
That
even-
movie made fucking bank. It took over the culture for a minute. People were talking about it. Nicolas Cage became this iconic, if not fully loved by the audience kind of character, right? That was a big fucking movie. He gets a chance to take swings. I would rather see him take swings like this than The Monkey all day.
All I'm saying is it's because it's Osgood Perkins that he got the chance to do it, and he's heavily criticized because of who he is. It's not necessary. Like Heath is saying that
Yeah,
we need
people
to,
expect
we need to
more from
separate
him.
the artist from the art. But the thing is, like, if I go to see a Martin Scorsese movie, I'm going to judge it way differently than I
agree.
judge like a guy's first time movie.
I agree, but I think when you say Osgood Perkins, that does not have the purchase of Yorgos Lanthimos, of Scorsese, of any of these, of fucking Sam Raimi. He's not that guy
But
yet.
honestly, Lanthimos, same thing. I mean, he's been putting out movies at an incredible pace too, and I think honestly Begonia might be his best of this batch, but it's not getting the same reception that Poor Things got because again, it's kind of like, oh yeah, we've done this.
It's heavily
But
criticized.
it's
yeah.
another thing where
It's not fair to the
audiences
film.
were just like, it's cynical, it's mean, it's dour, it's not fun, whatever. Like, people were talking shit about that movie, and I was reading reviews, and I was like, I just don't think I saw the same movie.
Isn't
Right?
it amazing though how many movies? I think almost what percentage of movies do you think get a fair reassessment afterwards?
Oh, I think this is the glorious thing about Netflix, right? It's like, you'll look at the Netflix top 10, there will be some dog shit movie from 20 years ago, and you're like, oh, I thought we all hated that movie.
Yeah.
And it's
It's
just
good,
top 10
yeah.
on Netflix, and people are like, dude, last night I was a little bit high, and I was trying to fall asleep, and I was like, what do I watch? And I was like, oh yeah, Van Helsing with Hugh Jackman. I just turned it on.
Is it good?
No, it's fucking terrible.
terrible, yeah.
But it was
That's
there was
sad.
a comfort in the terrible, like the immediate terrible CG in the black and white, like
Well, and
whatever
Kate
they did with
Beckinsale,
Dracula, right? I was just like, this sucks. But I loved sitting in it. I don't know. And I was like, why is everyone swinging on a rope the whole movie? But I just was like, it's fun. And that's the thing. When you get 20 years from a movie, We don't care about box office. We don't care about like, oh, this is a hiccup for Hugh Jackman. Maybe Wolverine's a one-off. You just kind of, there's like a nostalgia to things. And it's like, oh, that was a fun, it reminds you of a time.
And hopefully the movie is being assessed more fairly with the distance of, and that's what I'm saying for this. I think this movie will it's getting kind of slaughtered. It's a 50-50 movie. Actually, I think it's rated around 60% on Rotten Tomatoes, and that's seen as bad. What's actually still positive.
Yeah, that's
I think those are usually my favorite movies are the ones that hit in that 60-70 range.
The ones that kill me is when you go and it's like 90 fucking
those
out
are
of
the worst
96.
movies.
Give it up. It's a 98% on the tomato meter. You're like,
yeah.
Like,
which means it's bland and it's for everybody, and it doesn't
Cookie
take
cutter.
doesn't
Everybody likes it. But if 60% of the people that watched it liked it, that's pretty good.
I think this is a movie. Again, I think it'll hit way harder with female audiences than male. I think a lot of horror probably is like that now.
Well, to counteract Heath's point, so I went to a Regal too, and behind me, the lady, when we were leaving, she was talking to her husband, and I'm pretty sure he was lying, but she was like, "Man, they just don't make good movies anymore. That was amazing." Like,
hell yeah, dude.
And he's like, "Yeah." And
Maybe he liked it.
Maybe he was trying to get laid.
Some men are allies to their wives. Say, I'm trying.
yeah. That guy was a real piece of shit, wasn't he? Hated that guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Amy's gonna watch this movie and be fucking petrified. Because again, when she lived in LA, she'd go run at night, and she's like, "Should I do it?" I was like, "Yeah, go run if you want." And she's like, "It's scary at night." And I was like, "Why?"
Yeah.
And she's like, "Well, there's a guy who lives in the bushes in front of our apartment." I was like, "Oh, he's cool." Right? Like, it never dawned on me that it would be scary for her to go. And we had a pit bull, so she would always run with Lolo, and no one would fuck with her. But it was scary. She had to think about it. She's like, when I walked from work to the parking garage, we'd walk in groups because we were fucking scared because a nurse got accosted in the parking garage.
Yeah.
It's just something I never had to worry. I never leave anywhere at any time of night. And I'm like, oh, someone might try to get me.
Well, you're also like a tall, kind of strong dude. Like, there are small dudes that are scared.
Heath, are you scared all the time?
Petite.
Heath works out, though. He's muscular.
Yeah. I feel like Heath could just run away. Yeah,
Heath could just...
Yeah, I'm pretty fast.
Heath would fucking parkour out of there.
Okay, we're getting a little long in the tooth. We should definitely talk about the ending because it is an effective
the final
ending
image of this movie. This is another thing. The final image of him upside down in the honey. Mm-hmm. I was like, just give me that for every movie.
Great,
That's
right?
one of, if not the best final image in a horror movie of the whole year to me.
Is she stringing him up? That was like another Sam take that I had.
How did she get him up there?
She didn't get him up there. She has fucking super powerful demons.
Hey, man, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Those demons are.
Hey, Griffey,
did those demons go to? I'm just thinking
They're
about
Eagle
this.
Scouts.
Eagle Scouts because of
From
Creep.
Creep I'm just saying these demons are also hundreds of years old. What are they doing in the fucking basement all day?
I know. Yeah,
They're learning fucking knots. Knot craft. Yeah.
Not a single Xbox to be seen in the entire house.
Oh, that's true.
What are you gonna do for 200 years?
Yeah. So what did you make of the ending of him now an aged old man having to confront her with black eyes? Being dipped in
I
honey?
obviously felt the catharsis that they were trying to present to us.
Hell yeah.
I felt a little bit of sympathy for him, weirdly. Yeah.
Why?
I don't know.
Because he's an old, feeble
he's so
man?
weak and
Because
pathetic.
he's a man.
But honestly, I felt sympathy kind of throughout the entire movie. I'm like, this guy is pathetic as fuck. And then when you find out he's 200 years old, it's like even worse. It's like,
wow.
Yeah, you haven't got self-esteem after 200 years? What the hell's wrong with you?
Because he knows all of his power is ill-gotten.
Yeah, but you need to embrace.
This is also a story about how we build families and we expect the women to take care of the kids and all this.
This is becoming like a very Jordan Peterson style take from Sam.
Go ahead, Sam. What are your 12 rules?
No, we need to have kids and raise families and stuff, but all of my notes are basically the same thing. Is like, I really supported what the brother was doing. He was doing it pragmatically. He was doing
Sam
it the
is
right
pro
way.
Prostitution murder, yeah.
I'm like, if you're going to murder someone, why develop a year relationship with them, fall in love with them, technically, or whatever, say you fall in love with them. Why go through all this charade unless you're really into it? But he's obviously not into it because he turns up the radio at the end so he doesn't hear her killed. Like,
but he's also
honestly,
listening to it, probably a little hard.
I'm not a screenwriter, but how I would have written that is... The music's loud, right? And he starts to hear her screaming. He turns it down so he can hear her. And then you realize, oh, he's actually he's into tricking.
He is into it. You think he just has Leon the professional glasses because he's not into it?
He obviously feels some guilt, which is fucking weird.
Because he knows he's a man who's built on a false fucking landscape of dead women.
He doesn't want to hear her die.
Wait, just for the record, make sure you tell the pod audience you're not pro violence against sex workers.
I'm not pro-violence.
That was a pregnant
hair.
pause.
Whoa.
Wow, that was weird.
Whoa, that was more pregnant than a wood spirit, dude. All right, what other fucking notes do you have?
Those were all my notes.
You had a whole page for that?
I had bro pragmatic, both chodes unlovable.
Both Jones unlovable.
Why kill your girlfriend? Why not just kill a random woman? Brother actually.
Wait, save that for a clip. I'm just saying, why not kill a random
Yeah.
woman?
Why kill your girlfriend? Kill a random woman.
Because he's the sensitive man that needs the love and the intimacy and the affection. But at the same time, he's still got to get his nut. You know?
Also,
Yes, yeah.
maybe he believes that the more valuable the woman is to him, the more power it grants him in the ritual.
But
That's how magic works.
They could have showed that to us, and that would have made sense. But they didn't show that to
He
us.
literally did. He was drinking scotch and playing fucking hipster records.
Yeah,
with
but they
his
didn't
little
show
glasses
that
on.
if he loved her, it would grant him more life. He literally had the line.
Why would he pick someone who looks like the fucking spirit that started it all?
So they had the line at the end where she's finally confronting him, like, "What the fuck's happening?"
That was cool.
And
He's
he's
like,
like,
"You're gonna die tonight."
he's like, "Oh, you're gonna die so that I can live a little longer."
Yeah, it won't be in vain.
And I'm like, okay,
That was a cool line.
it
So
was
cool.
cool.
A
It was
contender
terrible.
for most messed up moment when he's like, "This is the greatest gift, the most love you can bestow someone."
And again-
is to give them life.
I think that's what this movie's all about, is how the woman fucking gets destroyed in relationships often. You take care of shit.
Subjugated.
You fucking have the kids. Your body gets ripped
Right.
up. And then when the kids come out, you got to fucking make the lunches, do the lunch. I think it's a lot about that, dude. I'm telling you, female audiences will get more out of
Well,
this.
the man
movie,
has to go to work for 8 hours a day and make all the money to do all that.
He didn't go to work. He didn't go fucking help Mrs. Hofstetler or whatever. Or Mrs.
Exactly.
Portnoy.
Yeah,
Mrs. Portnoy.
That was my other problem. Is he actually a doctor? Like, is he actually doing anything with his life?
You're just worried he's not using his 200 years
Well, I'm just
properly.
like, why are you doing this? Like, if you want to live forever, you don't have
Maybe.
you don't have any goals.
Maybe he saves a shitload of people and he just gives one random prostitute to this thing once a year, and it's actually a net positive for
And
society.
see, that's what that could be cool. Yeah.
And that
that would be cool. Yeah.
Wow,
would be cool.
okay,
If you
okay.
bring in more people to the world than you fucking take out.
Can I
That's
ask
what- that's
one
what they
question
said
about
about
the,
the
Italian.
about the last scene? She feeds him the cake. Obviously, she's rubbing it in his face. It's sweet revenge.
Yeah, this fork's going in your face one way or
It's
the
going in
other.
your face.
Yeah, I'd be
Really
like that.
worth the whole effort to bake the cake?
Well, I think these fucking creatures are baking cakes left and right. They
Is
give
that-
her a
is that
second
right?
cake, right?
There's no oven in the
These
basement.
creatures are making the cakes. These
There's
are
no
not
oven, so-
human-made cakes. They're from the caretaker.
Why a cake? What's the symbolism of a cake? I
Birthday?
just don't.
Let
I'm
them-
really
let
hung
them-
up on the
Let
cake.
them eat cake, dude. Marie Antoinette.
I guess.
They
It
can't
is-
have it all.
Maybe it is like a nobility thing.
It's it's an upper crust, right?
Upper
As the
crust.
people were starving in the streets, she's like, let them eat cake. They didn't have any fucking cake. They burned it down, chopped her head off.
Is it like a Betty Crocker thing? Like a Susie Homemaker?
But once again, this
Well,
is
with tariffs, you have to buy the pre-made.
it's another thing where you have to determine your own thing, which
What's wrong with that?
I know you love that because you're creative or whatever, but some of us
Just the cunty way he threw that aside. It was like
some
a
of us
compliment.
want the cake fed.
some
to
of us
Yeah.
some of us do want the cake fed to us.
I'm not here to king shame. That's fine if that's what you're into.
Cake shame.
Yeah, cake shame. I thought it was cool. Also, there was this kind of fucking milk and honey thing at the end. Dip him in the honey.
Yeah. No, I
Preserve
like
his
the
crimes. I thought that
ending was
last
awesome.
image is my favorite final image of a movie this whole year. It was fucking glorious.
Who preserved the creature mother's head? in
I
the
think it
honey?
was the creatures.
It was the creatures.
Yeah, I think the creatures.
Boy,
saved
they
her head.
have a lot of homemaking skills.
They do.
They got
Yeah.
honey jars, dude. They make cakes. They know knots, dude. These are very. I
My-
would be their mom.
My only question is, why isn't there that white goo all over the house? Because that thing is just crawling around dripping goo.
Drooling.
Yeah.
Because they can apparate, dude. They become ghosts.
They're
I think
apparating?
they have to stay in the basement
Oh,
a
okay.
lot. But yeah, I don't know. I fucking like this movie. So Sam, what was the most messed up moment in The Keeper? Or just Keeper? It's just Keeper.
Keeper.
What's the most messed up moment in Keeper?
The most messed up moment in Keeper was when they're all crawling towards her, right?
Yeah.
And this was messed up to me because I was like, "What the fuck's happening?" She just starts laughing, and they're getting closer. And was one of them crying? I can't even remember, but it was weird. And she's
Well-
laughing, and then it goes up to the dude. He's turning up the radio, and you don't know what's happening.
Yeah, this was the Midsommar thing where the ghost was kind of crawling towards her.
Yeah.
And it was kind of matching the energy she gave. So it was laughs and cries. We see her start to wail in horror as she takes in these monsters. Again, I think they say this was a thing with soldiers too, as they would run into battle, you start laughing
start
because you
laughing,
don't
yeah.
know how to fucking handle all of this terror.
Well, but they make it seem like they're kind of eating her, right?
No.
I mean, to
I
me,
didn't-
it seemed like...
You thought they were eating her?
Well, no, because how you were saying that the laughters are mixed with wails. So she's like laughing and then going, ah.
I think maybe she's sitting there. She's like, why am I in this fucking basement and this thing's drooling on me? Like, what the hell?
Well, the dude just explained it to you, lady.
He said a fish got hooked and gave wishes. What does that mean? That this thing with 10 faces is crying on me. This other one's fucking drooling on me. What the fuck?
We were just talking about how we need to understand metaphors better or whatever.
I'm proud of you, Sam.
So there you go.
Sam, I'm proud of you.
So she should have known.
She should have known. Yeah.
Okay.
You know what she was crying at? The fucking mixed metaphors of the, movie.
mixed metaphors.
Yeah, right.
That's it. She's
I
like,
don't
can't
understand the
take
plot
it.
of my own movie.
I got the metaphors. No, I didn't.
That was my
Heath,
messed up. Yep.
well, Heath, what was the most messed up moment in Keeper?
I'm going to go with a very superficial moment that just jolted me. It got me. I thought it was a great jump scare. Doesn't really add much, but the imagery was fantastic when she spotted the woman with the bag in the trash. With the
Yes.
bag. Just the way that... If you clipped that out, kind of like Exorcist 3, right? With the classic, you can take this scene out and it's scary no matter what.
Jump scare you.
Yeah, just that imagery of the woman's head in the plastic bag, kind of like the scene in Nightmare on Elm Street, where the girl is being dragged through the hallway.
Oh, yeah.
There's just something visceral about that. Just it's uncanny, it's disturbing, and it got me.
You know what sells
thought it
that
was-
moment a ton? Is she gets scared, she looks back, it's gone.
Yeah.
That, I think, is what sells that moment. Because the whole movie's about this. She has no idea what's real or not, what's in her head and what's not. It's kind of this on the subtextual level. It's about the relationship. And then she's like, is that fucking prostitute in the bag? Holy shit. I thought that movie was incredible. Or that moment.
That moment was great. Yeah, it was just a visceral punch. And the imagery of it was just, it just gets you on a core level. So that was mine.
Yeah, I think if I had to pick a most messed up moment, there's a lot of like really great stark imagery. I think it's got to be when Malcolm just finally comes clean, right? They're laying on the ground and she's like, how'd Mrs. Portnoy end up? He's like, who?
Yeah.
And then he realizes he goes in the bathroom, it doesn't lock, and he's like, I think we should talk, right? She's got a picture of him with the family.
Was he intentionally making that fuck up? Because he said Mrs. Portnoy a lot.
I think they had started to drink wine and his defenses were down a little bit. He's got her. These things are going to eat her eventually. She had a whole cake, right?
He just didn't give a shit.
Well,
Yeah,
he didn't expect her to be alive. Remember when he walks
Yes.
back in, he's like, "Oh my god."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I think the moment
Scared
when
her.
he finally comes in, he's like, let's go to the living room and talk. This is the best offer you're going to get right now. And he kind of is like, you're going to die tonight, right? And he tells the whole backstory.
Her reaction was really good when he
She's
said
incredible. This is one of the best performances of the year, and I'm sad it'll get lost in this movie
that.
that's
Yeah,
kind of getting
agreed,
panned.
agreed.
But I thought the imagery of her hearing this story, right? And then we cut to there's just this creature in the woods that just bathes in these springs, right? And it's just kind of loving life, minding its own business. And we see that he's this cunty little kid in like a Quaker suit, right? Like he's Mel Gibson in The Patriot. And he's just like, you can't dance on my father's land. And they shoot it and they drag it
dance in
into
the
the barn. And it's giving birth, but to what? And they fucking shoot it. And the Malcolm telling this, right? Telling the tale of, the folklore of the fish on the hook that grants wishes. But why is the creature so stupid and not worthy of personhood that it saves itself? Her reaction to all of this is one of my favorite acting moments I've seen in years. Her taking this in, and she's like, can we go back to before I met you? I mean, that was just one of those moments of like, that's why you go to movies. That's why big budget movies sometimes, they just get these actors that are out of our reach,
Right.
that are just fucking incredible. They
was
can just go to a
fantastic.
different place. This performance, it will be an absolute sin against cinema if this performance doesn't get valued because people are kind of wishy-washy on the metaphors.
Yeah, I
of the
agree.
movie.
Wouldn't that be the script writing though? To be fair,
Sure. I mean, you can write a great script.
'Cause
It's a totally
someone else
different
wrote
thing to
that
take
line.
that script and play the scene.
right?
On the page, I'm guessing that reads totally different than how she played it.
Like, can we just go back to the beginning, please?
Yeah, just begging, right? She plays it in this completely complicated way to me.
Like she's
it was
almost-
messy and gross and felt real to me.
She's almost on drugs or something. it
Yeah,
seems
well,
like.
she is. She's fucking slamming
She
cakes
is on
left and
drugs.
right.
Yeah. She's like, can we just go back
I
to
thought
the
the
beginning?
movie kind of came together in this beautiful moment of Malcolm's just kind of apathy, her absolute like trying to pander to him but breaking down, and then getting to see the backstory of Malcolm's original sin of destroying this mystical woman who was just giving life in the woods, right? They could have just left it alone. This was my father's land. And we never see his parents or family at all. It was just him dictating in the world what he thought men got to do to women. And I thought that whole moment, it just slammed this movie together for me in a way that was fascinating.
Yeah, in his mind, everything was foretold, and this is how
Mm-hmm.
it has to be. And she proved that No.
Yeah.
You don't know what you're talking about.
That's probably what happened to his mom, right?
Right.
The dad fucking destroyed her too.
Yeah.
This is what men do.
Yeah, it's very much like this is our property.
Yeah.
Yep.
And because you're on our property, you have
Yeah.
to adhere to the rules of our domination.
Yeah, it's this young boy seeing something magical and not having the movie magical moment of like, wow.
Yeah.
But like, fucking destroy it. That's what Papa would do.
Right, yeah, it's kind of like, not to get too political, but why do the Trump children, are they poachers? Why
Yeah.
do they go on African safaris
Yeah.
and kill beautiful creatures?
Yeah.
There's just like no respect.
Yeah, and they're losers. They're not going. I've always thought big game hunting is like the pussiest thing you could do.
Oh, yeah,
like you see these
absolutely.
guys. They'll post videos. They're like standing by an elephant that's asleep with this giant gun. I was like, go out and fight that thing with an axe or a sword. That's cool. Like do it honorably. Give the animal a chance to murder you. Don't ambush it in your sleep.
Yeah, this territorial bullshit is very much like a toxic masculine.
There, yes, we destroy things and put them up on our walls as trophies, and that's very much what this thing is at the end when the head's pulled out of the honey, right? This fucking shrunken. That's his fucking trophy. Everything in his life is built on that fucking sin.
Yeah.
And it was nice to see him pay for it, man. I really enjoyed this movie. Again, I can't tell you that it all makes sense. The metaphors aren't messy and muddy. To me, that didn't matter. I love the experience of floating through this movie. Just the unease, the dread, the, trying to put my foot on what these metaphors meant. To me, I loved that experience in the theater.
I gave it a 3 out of 5
Mm-hmm.
on Letterboxd. I don't know that I'm ready to add it a half star, but
Mm-hmm.
maybe after this conversation. I started this saying that there were things I liked, things I didn't, and things that I was unclear about. And I think this conversation has brought out a little bit more of what I was unclear about. Not all the way. Sam, where are you? Are you a little bit more clear?
Sam's taking away stuff.
I'm actually a little bit further than where we started.
He's
Like,
a half star
dude, whatever,
removed.
man. Take your metaphors and shove them. I want a good I want a good monster movie, and maybe I'm just gonna have to say that I don't think this movie was made for me.
Yeah, I think that
I'll leave it
that
at
might
that.
be totally fair.
I'm not
Again,
gonna go as far as saying it's a good
my
movie.
kind of bar movie this year, the movie I find that's kind of at the bottom of my threshold, like the movies have to jump, is Companion.
Yeah.
Companion was a perfectly fine movie.
See, that was a good metaphor
Again,
that I liked.
because it's text, not subtext.
You're right.
It's just
Exactly.
text. You
It's
like
just
text,
text.
not as much subtext.
Yeah, I don't want to do any
So
extra
I-
work. I do
so-
enough work in my real life. I don't need to do extra work for my art.
I agree. But to me, it's like, did Companion achieve a lot more than this movie? I find that a hard argument to make. Companion was perfectly fine. Great performances, great style. It was fun.
It was just more palatable.
I think, it was more
Yeah.
accessible.
Yeah.
Right, it was accessible, but did it achieve on an artistic level more than Keeper?
Probably
like that's
not.
kind of the movie I keep. That's the one I find is like the gatekeeper movie for me this year.
It's just really difficult if you're not David Lynch, and the mysteries that you are withholding, or the meaning that you're withholding, I should say, isn't in like fascinating, which the way he does it, so few filmmakers could do it. But you're striving for that and you're just falling short, then it's easier to hold that against the filmmaker in the film.
And I agree, most audiences seem to be doing that for sure. I hope this movie finds its home eventually and is cherished, man, because there's more good stuff in it than bad stuff, right? Messy metaphors I can get away with. The performances are fucking incredible, right? This was one of those performances I saw, and I was like, I kind of had like a Toni Collette, like, she should get nominated, man.
Yeah,
she
but
never will, because it's like Toni Collette should have won the Oscar.
I
I
know.
wouldn't say that about this one. She should be in the race for some of them. She was incredible.
Yeah, but is she better than Sally Hawkins and Bring Her Back?
Yes.
You think so?
1,000%.
Whoa!
1,000%. This is the best horror movie performance of the year. I don't even think it's close.
That's a hot take. I think it's
better
a
than
great
Aunt Gladys.
performance.
It's better than fucking Jack O'Connell in Sinners.
Whoa.
This performance is the best horror movie performance of the year.
I don't think it's better than Sally Hawkins.
I think it's way better.
Huh.
I love Sally Hawkins too.
I don't think it's better than the Ukrainian chick.
You fuck!
That's how far I'm going.
I think what I'm hoping is that Sam realizes he needed this movie. And that Sam will soften.
No shit.
I think Sam is the exact audience for this
The
movie,
message
actually.
is just lost on the people that need to receive it.
You know how they
I
put that
can't
stuff on
wait
the
to buy
windshield
this
to
on
get the rain to
Blu-ray
go
for
off?
your wife, Sam.
I've got the windshield rain protectant on me, and it just goes right off. It just goes right over the edge. You know?
Rain-X. So
Rain-X.
that's your new nickname, is Rain-X.
Yeah, there we go. That's pretty cool.
That's the end of a pod. Another show where Art washes off of Sam like so much water in the shower. One day we'll reach him, folks.
You know what it is? It's that shot where we have the transition of the stream all around her, and her face remains.
Yeah.
It's Sam's face, and all the stream is just
what it is
like,
is Sam sees something that's trying to be moving, and he just takes his little purple sunglasses and turns the volume up,
Yes.
not entering Sam at all.
Not moved, brother. Not moved.
Yeah, I think that says it all. Men need this movie. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did.
I can't believe this ended up being maybe our longest pod that we've had in
There's a lot
ages.
to talk about.
Yeah.
There's a lot. When we disagree, they go a little longer. Make sure you go to Indiegogo, type in Mr. Cream Jeans because we've been shadow banned. You can help us make our movie. You can join the pod. You can fucking yell at Sam for a while. Join the fun. It's a great time. Help us make our movie by getting the Join the Podcast perk. That would be great fun for all of us. Make sure you're subscribed to Misfit Parade on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, all the good stuff. Make sure you go to the Messed Up Movies Podcast Patreon page. Creep Tapes 2 is upon us, and you can help select a movie that will become an episode in December. This is the best time to join. It's the best way to help support and grow the show. We'll see you next time.